The topic is applications of stack. The first application is conversion of infix expression into postfix expression. So first we will see what is infix expression. So infix expression, the operator symbol is placed between the two operands, like normal formula writing. Okay, so it's like a expression writing a plus b plus c, something like that. Okay, and the next notation is prefix notation, which is otherwise called Polish notation. Here the operator and symbols are placed before the two operands. For example, if it is a plus b, means the prefix notation will be plus ab. And the next notation is postfix notation, which we call it as reverse Polish notation. So here the operators will be placed after the two operands. If it is a plus b, then it will be given as ab plus. So you can see here how the operand and operators are given. It's a syntax for infix expression and postfix expression, as well as prefix expression. In infix expression, operand 1, operator, operand 2. Okay. And postfix expression, it will be operand 1, operand 2, then operator. In prefix expression, operator will come first, then operand 1 and operand 2. Let us see the algorithm of infix to postfix conversion. So you will read the infix expression character by character. Okay, or you will read it like operand, operator, operand, something like that. So if you are using a word, means you will be taking that word as an operand. If you are using a single character, then you will take it as a character alone. So let us assume we will take single character. If that is a character, that is a number or a variable, you will just print it as an output. If it is an operator or an open parenthesis, we will be pushing into the stack. So initially stack will be empty. So you will be pushing all the operators and open parenthesis to the top of the stack. While pushing the operators into the stack, you will be checking whether the priority is maintained or not. So you can place an operator above a lower operator. So a higher operator can be placed above the lower operator, but you can't place a lower operator above the higher operator. So if there is a closing parenthesis comes, so you will start popping out from the stack until you encounter a open parenthesis. So at the final, the stack must be empty so that your infix expression is an valid expression. Otherwise, your infix expression is not an valid expression. Let us take an example how infix expression is going to be converted into a postfix expression. See, you can see an above expression is given 2 star 3 slash open parenthesis 2 minus 1 plus 5 into 3. So when it starts reading one character at a time, so when 2 comes, it is an operand, it will be printed. When star comes, it will be pushed into the stack. You can see this middle column is a stack and the elements will be added in such a fashion. When 3 comes, again it's a star alone will be there in the push. 3 will be printed as an output. When you come with a backslash, so backslash is a lower priority and star is an higher priority. So star will be popped out, then slash will be pushed into the stack. Then you encounter an open parenthesis. So open parenthesis doesn't have any priority, so you can just push it into the stack. Then you encounter 2, so 2 will be printed out. Then minus, so you will be pushing minus into the stack. When you try to push into the minus into the stack, you can see the topmost operator will be an open parenthesis which doesn't have any priority, so minus will be pushed into the stack. Then you encounter 1, so which will be printed as an output. When you encounter closing parenthesis, all the symbols will be popped from the stack until you encounter a open parenthesis. So you can see first minus will be printed, then you encounter a open parenthesis, so you will not print the open parenthesis, we'll go for the next operand. So the next operand is plus. As you can see, plus is lower priority whereas backslash is an higher priority, so backslash will be printed and then plus will be pushed in the stack. Then 5 comes, 5 5 will be printed, star comes, already plus is in the stack, star is higher priority, so it can be placed, so it is pushed into the stack. Then 3 comes, 3 will be printed, we have reached the end of the string, we should pop all the symbols from the stack. So you will get first thing is star, then finally plus. So the infix expression which is converted into postfix is 23 star 21 minus slash 53 star plus. The next application of stack is evaluating a postfix expression. So first thing is you have to convert the infix expression into a postfix expression for evaluating a postfix expression. So you may be given a problem that an infix expression to be evaluated using stack, then you must convert the infix expression into a postfix and then postfix will be evaluated. Now let us see how postfix expression is evaluated. So you will start reading the symbols from the postfix expression character by character or operand by operand. So if it is an operand, you will push it into the stack. Okay. So from left to right, when I am reading, I will push the each and every operand into the stack. When I read an operator, you will pop 2 operands from the stack to perform the operation, and the result of the operation will be again pushed into the stack. So here we are considering only binary operations. Okay. So binary arithmetic operations, each operators will have 2 operands. That's why we are popping 2 symbols from the stack. If you are using urinary operators, then your coding must be changed accordingly. Okay. Next thing is, after you encounter the end of the string, you can find that your answer will be in the top of the queue. Let us see an example for how postfix expression is evaluated. So now I have postfix expression is given 4 plus 5, 7, 2 minus star. So when it sees 4, 4 will be pushed into stack. When it sees 5, 5 is also pushed into stack. When it encounters plus, 2 symbols will be popped out from the stack. So what will come first is 5. 5 will be a right operand. Okay, right operand of plus. Then 4 will be coming. So 4 will be the left operand of plus. That is, when 5 and 4 comes out, it will be 4 plus 5. It is not 5 plus 4, it is 4 plus 5. The expression will be evaluated. So 4 plus 5 is 9. Again, the result is pushed into the stack. Now we'll read the next operand, which is 7. Again, 7 is pushed into the stack. The next operand is 2. Again, 2 is pushed into the stack. The next operand is minus. It's an operator. So you will pop 2 symbols from the stack. So first comes is 2, second comes is 7. So you have to perform 7 minus 2. It is not 2 minus 7. It is 7 minus 2. So you will get the answer 5. Again, 5 will be pushed into the stack. Then the final operand is star. So which will be popping out again 2 symbols from the stack, which will be 5 and 9. So you will perform it as 9 into 5. The answer will be 45. So this is the answer of the postfix expression. So this is how you will be evaluating a postfix expression. Let us have another example. So the right side top is an infix expression which is converted into the postfix expression, which is given in the leftmost top. Now we will read the operand one by one. First 5, you will be pushing 5 into the stack. Then 6 will be 6 and 3 will be pushed into stack. Now the stack is having 5, 6 and 3. So the next operand is star. So you will pop 2 symbols from the stack. So the first symbol will be 3. The second popped symbol will be 6. So you will be performing 6 into 3. So the answer is 18. The 18 will be again pushed into the stack. Now stack contains 2 values. One is 5 and 18. So next operand is going to be plus. So you again pop 2 symbols from the stack. So you will be getting 5 and 18. You will perform addition and you will push the result 23 into the stack. Next operand is 5 and 6 will be pushed into the stack. Then again plus, you will get 6 and 5 will be popped from the stack. Perform addition and the result will be pushed into the stack, which will be 23 and 11. The next operand is 3. It will be pushed into the stack. So your next operand will be star. So you pop 3 and 11. You perform 11 into 3. and push 33 into the stack. So finally you will have plus, it will be 23 plus 33 and push the result 55. Finally my stack contains only one value, which is 56. Now the only thing you should understand when this condition or when this algorithm fails, when an operator is encountered and you don't have enough operands to pop from a stack, then your postfix expression is a invalid expression. So make sure you are popping two elements. If there is no two values, or if you are having only one value for an operator performance, then it is an invalid expression. So the next application of stack is a balancing symbols. So here again we will be using stack to check whether the number of parentheses in a string are in proper format. So when you are counting the number of open parentheses and close parentheses, it may be correct or it may be equal, but then open and close will be in a different format. For example, if close comes first and open comes next, then it is having a valid number of open and close parentheses, but the order of appearing open and close are wrong. So that can be verified using stack. So let us see an example how it is done. So here in this example, we are just going to consider only the open and close parentheses of the given string. So we'll see we have two open parentheses, then close parentheses, again a open parenthesis, then again two close parentheses. When you count the number of open and number of close, both are equal, but we are going to check whether they are in a proper order or that is in a balanced manner. So we are going to use it. So when you see open, you will be pushing into the stack. When you see a close, you will be popping a open symbol from the stack. So you see here, first open parenthesis will be pushed into the stack. When you encounter the second open parenthesis, again it will be pushed into the stack. Now the third operand is going to be a closing parenthesis. So you will pop one open parenthesis from the stack to neutralize the closing parenthesis. That is, if you have a closing parenthesis, then you must have one open parenthesis in the stack. So that open parenthesis will be popped out and it will be removed from the string. After the pop operation, the next operand is again going to be an open parenthesis, which will be again pushed into the stack. And the fifth operand is going to be again a closing parenthesis. So you will pop an symbol from the stack. So you will be that will be nullified. Finally, you will be having only one open parenthesis in the stack, and the final operand will be an closing parenthesis. So again you will be popping open parenthesis from the stack, and finally your stack will be empty. If your stack is empty, then the given expression is a balanced parenthesis expression. Otherwise it is not a balanced parenthesis expression. Now we'll see how it works for other type of brackets that are available. So let us check whether this expression is a balanced expression or we are going to try with the curly braces and square bracket. Now the expression is given, the first operand is going to be an curly open parenthesis. So all the open symbols will be pushed into the stack. So curly open parenthesis is pushed into the stack. The second operand is parenthesis, open parenthesis, which is also pushed into the stack. The third is going to be an closing parenthesis. So you pop a symbol from the stack. So what is getting popped must be of same type of closing parenthesis. So here we are popping out is going to be an open parenthesis, and the current operand is closing parenthesis. So both will be cancelled. So we will going for the next operand. So the fourth operand is again a square bracket, open square bracket. It will be pushed into the stack. And the fifth one is going to be open parenthesis. Again it is pushed into the stack. Sixth operand is open square bracket, which is also pushed into the stack. When it comes with the seventh operand, it is a closing square bracket. Now the symbol which will be popped out will be a open square bracket. So both will be nullified. So you can go for the eighth operand. Now eighth operand is a closing parenthesis. Now a symbol will be popped out from the stack, which will be a opening parenthesis, and that also will be nullified. Then when you read the ninth operand, which is a closing square bracket, so a symbol will be popped out from the stack. Again the popped out symbol is going to be a open square bracket, which also will be nullified. Finally you encounter the operand, which is a closing curly brace. The last symbol which will be popped out from the stack is going to be an open curly brace. When you reach the end of this string, you can see my stack is empty. Then you can say it is an balanced expression. If the stack is not empty, then it will be considered as a unbalanced expression. Let us see an example for an unbalanced expression. Now the expression is given. So the first operand is a curly brace, open curly brace, which is pushed into a stack. The second operand is open parenthesis, which is also pushed into a stack. The third operand is a closing parenthesis. So your symbol will be popped out from the stack, which will be an open parenthesis. So both will get nullified. Then again, the fourth operand is going to be an open parenthesis, which will be pushed into the stack. Then the final operand is closing curly brace. So now a symbol will be popped out from the stack. You can see the popped out symbol will be a open parenthesis. The current operand will be an closing curly brace, which does not match each other. So finally you will be having error. So then you can simply print that the given expression is unbalanced expression. So where in real time stack is used? So let us consider when you are using a recursive function or recursive call. So the current function may call the next recursive or invoke a next recursive call. For example, you can take an factorial commutation using recursive calls. So fact of 3 will be calling 3 into fact of 2. That is, again, the factorial 3 recursive call is going to be evaluated with 3 into factorial 2. So the factorial of 2 is another recursive call. So fact 3 will be pushed into 2. Then factorial of 2 will be calling factorial of 1. So factorial of 2 will be pushed into stack and factorial 1 will be executed. So when factorial 1 executes, it calls factorial 0. So factorial 1 will be pushed into stack and factorial 0 will be executing. When factorial 0 is executed, when the result has come, it will pop one recursive call from the stack. So fact 1 will come, it will get its answer. Again fact 2 will come, it will get its answer. Then finally fact 3 comes, it will get its answer. Then answer will be pushed into the stack. So this is how a recursive calls use stack for its execution. The next application of stack is going to be a Tower of Hanoi problem. So here this Tower of Hanoi is nothing but an mathematical puzzle. So it consists of 3 pegs and more than 1 ring. So what is the thing is, pegs are nothing but in a board you will be having 3 sticks and you will be having rings of different size. Here when you initially start the program, the rings will be kept in the pegs in the ascending order. That is, a smaller ring will be always placed above a higher ring. So the bigger size we can have a ring that is of smaller size on above it. So what you are trying to do here is we are going to move this ring from first peg to the last peg. The only rule is you can't place an higher ring, bigger ring on the smaller ring. So what will be the rules? We will list it out the rules one by one. The first rule is you can move only one disc or ring from towers at a given amount of time. So at a time I can move only one ring. Then the top disc can be alone removed. You can't remove the bottom disc because it's going to be acting like a stack. You can remove only from the top end of the each peg. Now last rule is no larger disc can sit on a small disc. That is, the bigger ring cannot sit on a smaller ring. So that is the rule. So without violating these 3 rules, you have to transfer all the disc from the peg A to peg C. So the Tower of Hanoi can be solved in minimum 2 power n minus 1 steps. That is, if you are having 3 discs or 3 rings, it can be completed within 7 steps. So we can mark the 3 towers with the name, source and destination and an auxiliary one. So it will be useful for us to help in moving the disk. So step 1, you will move n minus 1 disk from the source to an auxiliary. In step 2, you will be moving the nth disk from source to destination. In step 3, n minus 1 disk from auxiliary to destination. So I can give an algorithm for this. The algorithm is with the same thing. So I named all the 3 pegs as source, auxiliary and destination. So you can use a recursive call to solve this problem. So here Hanai, tower of Hanai, I didn't use it. I used the verb Hanai, which is a recursive call which will be calling and solving this problem. I have given you few links which has some animation, so you can just go through these links to see how the disks are moved from source to destination. So just go through it and you will get a clear picture how the tower of Hanai is moved, how the tower of Hanai problem is solved. So thank you. We are completing this session with the applications of stack. Hope you have understood it. Thank you.